Returning to Source, Class 4, Sibling Relationships and Relationality. Hello, I'm Jim Morningstar, your guide through this 9-class journey of returning to Source. The topic in this, the fourth in our series, is Sibling Relationships and Relationality. We will elaborate on the influence of rivalry, the origins of jealousy, envy, and early sexual exploration on our personality. Sibling rivalry and relationships. The root of sibling rivalry is the illusion of separation and a limited universe. This leads to negative competition or survival of the fittest. Once this original misperception, the original sin as it's called, is believed, the game is on. It replays the Garden of Eden mythology in which the state of innocence, where all is free and shared, is lost when the apple of belief that one of us could be more godlike than the rest of the universe is bitten into. Then, seeing through the eyes of fear and judgment, it looks like, to us, God plays favorites. How come she gets to sit next to the car window and I don't? How come he gets fill in the blank? The apple in this myth of the Garden of Eden comes from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. In other words, the mind, which is based on judgment and comparison and driven by fear, because its vision is of a limited universe in which if you get something, there's less for me. Whereas if your diet is from the tree of life, the Sacred Heart, which is inclusive and unconditionally loving, there's unlimited creativity and joy in shared abundance. We cannot re-enter the Garden of Heaven, as the myth goes, until we pass the angel who wields the sword of truth. So until you own the truth of your oneness with God, you keep yourself out of heaven, either on earth or in the world of spirit. So there are several challenges we have created with our brothers and sisters on the planet to help bring us to our truth. The illusions which challenge us are that we are less than if we perceive we have less than someone else, envy, or that we are less if we perceive that we can do less than another, for example, attract others, perform better, jealousy. Both are based on a diminished evaluation of oneself, that is, low self-esteem. Envy postulates that I would be better off, that is, more lovable, happier, if I had what you have, for a new car, better job, more income, attractive children, etc. When I see you through the eyes of fear, I come up less than. It does not feel good. So I either bemoan my fate and wallow in my misery, or try to get even. The cruel joke is that I can never do enough to gain what I already have. As long as I harbor my misperception of less than glued in place by fear, I always feel less, no matter how much I accumulate. Life is not really cruel. It is tolerant of me exercising my free will to suffer as long as I choose. In the meantime, it presents me with countless opportunities to correct my vision and see with the eyes of love, like the innocent perception of the child who sees through the illusion that the emperor is essentially better than the rest of us because of what we imagine he's wearing. Every day, we're given hundreds of opportunities to count our blessings or judge ourselves for being wanting. This is putting on rose-colored glasses if it's a pretend game. It is a true shift in consciousness and life experience if I embody it. This does not mean I cannot admire what you have and desire to have something similar. Through the eyes of love, what you have will inspire me to be creative and manifest what's fulfilling for me. Not to try to copy you or compare myself unfavorably to you. That's the workings of the fear-based mind. So, with this in mind and heart, now take handout 2, Sibling Rivalry and Relationships, and write in section 1A, how I have been envious in the past is. Then write in section 1B, how I transform my envy into inspiration is. Now again, don't let your mind play tricks with you and rise above it all saying, oh, there's nothing really to be envious of. Well, of course we know that intellectually. We're working with what our emotions and the body feelings we are still attached to. So stop the video and complete this now and come back to the video. Jealousy postulates that I'd be better off, that is, more lovable, happier, if I could do what you do. That is, for example, attract others, perform better, be in the good graces of the boss, etc. Again, when I see you through the eyes of fear, I come up less than, and it doesn't feel good. So, as with envy, I either bemoan my fate and wallow in my misery, or try to get even. Now, as long as I harbor my misperception of less than glued in place by fear, I always feel less than no matter how much I improve. Life, again, is tolerant of my exercising my free will to be jealous for as long as I choose. And in the meantime, it presents me with countless opportunities to correct my vision and see with the eyes of love, to own my lovability, my unique gifts and signature strengths. Every day, we're also given hundreds of opportunities to love ourselves the way we are, or judge ourselves as wanting. I must embody it. This does not mean I cannot admire what you do and desire to do something similar. Through the eyes of love, what you do will inspire me to be creative and manifest my unique gifts, not try to copy you or compare myself unfavorably to you, which is, again, the work of the fear-based mind. Again, with this in mind and heart, take handout 2, and in section 2A, complete how I've been jealous in the past is. Then in section 2B, how I transform my jealousy into inspiration is. Again, don't let your mind play tricks and rise above it saying, oh, there's nothing really to be jealous of. Again, we're working with what that primitive part of ourselves can be attached to. Stop the video and complete this now, and come back to the video. Early sexual exploration. It's in human nature to be curious and to explore. Play is how children learn and develop adult skills. It's a routine part of mammalian maturation. When it's accepted and treated as such by humans, it becomes a wondrous part of childhood. When aspects of human development are judged or repressed, for example, our sexuality, seen as evil, or just not acknowledged, children sense this and dutifully submit, often the level 4 option of choice, or it makes them more curious and they explore outside of adult awareness. For example, let's play doctor behind closed doors. This puts the aura of forbidden fruit around the subject, which for many can last a lifetime. Ages 4 to 6 are when the nerve fibers to the sexual organs become more fully myelinated and the attraction towards objects of sexual stimulation become more attractive. As such, exploration commonly takes place during this time. If a power or seduction ethic is adopted by one child over another, this exploration can be forced and overwhelming to one party, in other words, traumatic. This is especially fostered in family settings where there is no healthy and balanced approach to sex education. That is, being sensitive to the interests and development of each child and supplying them with information and guidance to help normalize their emerging sexual feelings and interests and adapt behaviors appropriate to the culture in which they live. Parents will often repeat their patterns around these strong energies unconsciously. The situation is exacerbated when adults act out their sexual drives on children whose nervous system becomes overwhelmed and sexualized. That is, their sexual behavior becomes routinized, compulsive, or co-opted by other needs such as survival or approval. It has been estimated that a very high percentage of people engaged in prostitution have been subject to some such form of traumatization. Fortunately, as we learn more about the healing of trauma, we have tools like therapeutic breathwork to compassionately release and reprogram conditioned responses. On Handout 2, Section 3A, complete early conditioning I believe I received around my sexuality is. Now, write what comes to you intuitively, even if you do not have explicit memories. More may open to your awareness in future work. Then, on Handout 2, Section 3B, complete how I suspect my early conditioning has influenced my attitudes around my sexuality is. And finally, on Handout 2, Section 3C, complete how I release judgments and increase appreciation of my sexuality is. Now understand that we're not looking for details about sexual preferences or behaviors, but the overall acceptance of your sexuality and the sense of innocence and joy as much as you can forgive and own for now. At least seeing this as a possibility if it seems too far away at present. You probably would not begrudge others from having this, so do not exclude yourself. Complete Section 3, then come back to the video. When you're ready, if you can share Handout 2 with an accepting, compassionate person, it could be a major milestone in freeing yourself from the bondage of past programming and recovering life energies that are rightfully yours. Holding you in my heart as fellow travelers on the road home, I send and receive blessings for our circle and all sentient beings. Blessings in light and love.